All right, guys. So a group of senators looks like they are interested in trying to get this fight behind them. They're trying to get the shutdown fight over with. They're tired. This thing has been going on for 36 days, and they're looking at it not claiming victory. Notice the headline. It doesn't claim victory. It says we just want to abandon this thing and get the hell out. So I thought this would be a great article to give a live reaction to, and so let's go ahead and take a look at it. So apparently, a group of centrist Senate Democrats are sounding out Democrat colleagues on a potential deal to reopen the federal government this week or next. But they're getting strong pushback that could scuttle a potential agreement, according to people familiar with the discussions. A senator familiar with the behind the scenes negotiations said centrist Democrats, including retired Senators Jeanne Shaheen, Gary Peters, and the like, have the contours of a deal and are whipping more votes on their colleagues for their colleagues to sign on, but it's not yet clear whether they'll get enough additional votes to end the 36-day shutdown. Now, I don't think they have a chance, guys. I said in an earlier video that I think this thing has an open end date. I don't think any side wants to blink first. I think they're using these things like the election yesterday, whatever they can to push it forward. They want to stretch it because they know inevitably when it's over, they will have lost this fight. They will have wasted time. Now, I would suggest if I was the Democrats, I would go ahead and end it now while everyone is, feeling them right now. Apparently, they're the big cheese right now. So why not in the shutdown now? But they don't seem too keen on doing that. They just seem to just not be satisfied with their position. Senate sources say Senate Maggie Hassan has also signaled she'd likely support a deal to reopen the government. Such a deal would include a plan to pass regular appropriations bill and a promised vote on extending the expiring health care subsidies. Now, initially, it was a huge demand. The subsidies, if it wasn't the subsidies, it wasn't going to happen. So now they've softened that stance. And so while Trump is, he's panicking and stressing them to use the filibuster, I don't think it's necessary. The filibuster, ending that, would forever change the Senate. The Senate is supposed to be a deliberative body, and it would no longer be able to deliberate. It would be the House Part 2. So instead of a House and a Senate, we'd basically, once they got rid of all these filibusters, we just basically have two of the same thing. I know it's tempting, but right now is not the time to be trying to change a longstanding custom simply because the Democrats want to act up. They're already starting to wiggle and wobble and try to figure out a way out of this thing. So why not let things continue to play out? Let them sweat. The final details, however, are yet to be finalized. There's a plan. We've all kind of semi-agreed to it, and we're now seeing not whether the Senate Democratic Chuck leader would support it, but whether he will not blow it up. So they're looking at bypassing Chuck Schumer. Get out of here. They're talking about bypassing him altogether. I guess, and I don't think this is actually what would happen. I think behind closed doors, Chuck Schumer would tell a few of them, or the amount needed to do it, to go ahead and support the next opportunity to open the government. But he's going to pretend like they're doing it all on their own, and he's willing to keep the fight going. But I think this is what they realize is their only way out of it. Now let's assess what the Democrats got out of this. Exactly. They got absolutely nothing but a lot of pain and heartache. But the general public, will they be any wiser? Right now, the Democrats do a good job, and the media does a good job of demonizing Trump to the point where the public seems to get on board after a while. There was a lot of goodwill when the Trump administration kicked off, but slowly but surely the media has been able to erode his support when everything he tries to do to get the country back on track. You would expect the left to put up a fight, but what I didn't expect is MAGA to seem to kind of whittle down so quickly. I'm still all about it. I didn't expect MAGA to kind of to cave, but this is politics, right? The Senate Democrats met for more than 2 hours at lunch Tuesday to discuss the parameters of the emerging deal. One person familiar with today's heated discussion within the caucus says there appears to be at least 8 Democrat votes to reopen the government, even though progressive Democrat senators vented their frustration with the potential deal. Okay, so we got at least 8 votes to reopen the government. Okay, it says, to me, it looks like there were 8 votes, but it could change. There's a lot to think about. Nobody can predict the future. I know a lot of people want the government to open. I want the government to open, but I don't want the same government that we had. I mean, I think this is an opportunity to start off again with something new, because if we continue under the same circumstances, guys, we're just going to be back where we started. They said they pointed out several flaws in the deal. One of the biggest holes in the potential agreement is that centrist Democrats have not secured the commitments of enough Republican senators to ensure any bill that comes to the floor to extend the ACA subsidies will actually pass the Senate. And the centrist Democrats negotiating the deal haven't secured a commitment from Speaker Mike Johnson that he would put any Senate-passed deal to extend the insurance subsidies on the floor for a vote. There's also a strong concern among many Democrat senators that if between 8 and 10 Democrats vote to reopen the government without a significant concession from Trump, it'll dispirit the Democratic base that has started to show some new enthusiasm, as I was just talking about, for the party during the historic shutdown. Some liberals warn that centrists who cut a deal with Republicans to fund the government without a viable plan for extending health insurance subsidies would face political backlash. Okay, so ain't no loyalty, folks. They got to do what they said. They got to come away with something on health care. This is what they shut this whole thing down for. So they've backed themselves into a corner for sure. They promised they're a lot like Mudami. You know, Democrats aren't that different from each other, where it's in New York or in D.C., all because it sounds good at the time. Far beyond what's realistic, which kind of gets people in a high, puts them in a buzz, because they imagine all this free stuff and all of these things coming, but in actuality, you know, it's not happening, and it's not American to want all of this free stuff. This is not the America I knew and grew up in. The America I knew and grew up in, if you got free stuff, if you were on something government subsidized, you were on it for a while, and the goal, your personal goal, was to get off. You didn't need the government to tell you only had so long to get on. Hell, you didn't even want people to know you were on it. So to be proud to get government benefits and to accept them as though you never planned to get off of them, you know, there's a brain rot to me in the minds of the American people when we've come to expect so much from the government. And it has yet to be exposed. If anything, the left, at least, have doubled down on their demands of what they want from government. So this is all got to end sometime, guys, but we'll see what happens. Looks like there's a lot that has to happen between now and then in order for this to actually go through, but who knows? Stranger things have happened. I know the Democrats really want to get out of this jam, and they see no gain. This is why they're being forced to at least come away with something, which may actually do the job of keeping this thing going. Hey, I hope it does. The longer it goes, maybe we'll even forget what government actually did, you know, and we'll start doing for ourselves. That would be my hope. My hope is this thing shuts down so long that we reformat and we come up with a way to run our lives that doesn't involve the government at every turn. That would be the pro-America perspective that I would like to share with you guys today. All right, well, that's all I got on this one, guys. And if you like this content, and if you want commentary and opinion that's honest, that's forthright, that's all positive and pro-America, you're going to get that here, folks. So why don't you guys do me that solid and give me a sub, comment on the video, or share it. You know, spread the word. There is a channel on YouTube trying to spread positive political commentary. All right, guys. Well, that's all I got on this video, and I'll see you guys on the next one.